my friend.
All right. I am Colter Levinson. I am the Assistant Jail Administrator at the jail. Been there for about 20 years. Started there part-time, went full-time, then I became a sergeant. And I've been in my current position since 2015. As of probably January 1-ish, Jail Administrator Doug Irvin is actually retiring, and then I will take over his spot. Then we're gonna do a completely restructure. Right now we have a jail administrator, assistant, 4 sergeants, and then correctional officers. We're gonna go to a jail administrator, 2 lieutenants, 4 sergeants, and then correctional officers. So it's gonna be kind of a learning curve for everybody out there. I am not a public speaker. Obviously, I went into corrections, so at some point or another, you learn in corrections that you just kind of hate people. So, not saying I hate you guys, just saying I'm not a public speaker. I am not politically correct. I will probably cuss from time to time, so if you get offended by that, probably shouldn't be going into public safety. As you know, the jail, we've been there since 1995. Before that, it was on the 4th floor of the courthouse. I do not remember that. I've heard stories about it. Thank God I don't remember that, because there is a jail cell up there right now that we actually use for like murder trials. Before the jail, I didn't even register that Burlington even had a jail. So, kind of just thought, hey, want to go to law enforcement. Graduated from here in 2002. Went to SEC. Went to Western Illinois. Was going to go into Secret Service. Met a girl, started dating, met Secret Service agents, kind of realized that was not for me. I was strictly just wanting to do the protection of Secret Service. Didn't want to uproot at a moment's notice. Want to go to, kids' t-ball games, stuff like that. So I kind of was so narrow-minded when I decided not to do Secret Service. Kind of didn't really have an avenue. Saw the jail was hiring. Went there part-time. Decided that commuting to Western Illinois every day sucked. Joined the Marine Corps. Did that for a short stint. Realized that also sucked, but kind of the best thing I ever did. Came back, got my job at the jail back, became full-time, and been there ever since. I will go through these questions, kind of cheating here. Brian gave me your questions that you're supposed to ask. I'm gonna make you ask me different questions. Hiring process out of the jail. Kind of high school education, GED, you apply, you do the interview process, you pass a background check, and then once that is done, I'll call you and have you do an MMPI or an impulse test that we use now. It is I think it's a 567 psych test. It's a multiple choice test. You read a phrase, pick the multiple choice answer that best applies to you. Not anything to study for, and somehow they can get, with all those questions, they can tell me your personality. They can literally pinpoint whether you're gonna call in sick a lot. That's how in depth they can actually get, and that actually, they've been kind of right on lately. After the MMPI or impulse test, we'll do a fit for duty test. It's not the sit-ups, push-ups, 1.5 miles like you would to be a police officer or deputy. It's kind of mirrored toward corrections. Do walking, you do stairs, you do lifting up weight, like a weighted water bag, kind of picking up lunch trays. Do a kind of resistance test, because opening up cell doors and hallway doors, because each of our doors is, I think it's the equivalent to a 35-pound horse just to open up a door to get through. We have after that, you pass the fit for duty test. Is basically I do a personnel action to the auditor's office and we get a start date for you. You will do minimum of 200 hours with another full-time CO before you're on your own. And then basically you're on your own, or we meet and say, hey, you're not getting it, we'll extend training, or best wishes out the door. Field is not for everybody. I've hired people that walk into our male GP unit, walk immediately out and say, I quit. So, not a good day when that happens, because obviously we need people. Some of the jobs at the agency that I've done, part-time CO, full-time CO, sergeant, assistant jail administrator, and then beginning of 2025, I'll take over as jail administrator. And even right now, we're having some kitchen staff issues. So some weekends, I work Monday through Friday. So some Saturdays and Sundays that I'm off, I actually have to go in and cook. Sucks. I hate cooking for about 80 people, but it needs to. How has it affected the speaker's life or speaker's family life? That could be an 8-hour conversation. Used to be, I always joke, say I used to be a nice guy. Now, like I said, you kind of turn into standoffish, hating people. Go to a restaurant, your back's never to the door. You want to see who's coming in. Go to a simple trip to the grocery store. If I run into an inmate down the aisle that I've actually had issues with, my wife and kids, I say a certain phrase or word, they leave. They know what it is. It's something that if I said it here, you probably be like, that doesn't make any sense, has nothing to do with an inmate. But they know it's to leave, because I don't know if I'm gonna have issues, because about every day I get threatened with my life. It's my fault they're in jail. My wife has been threatened, murdered, threatened to rape her. Even my kids have been, I'm gonna kill your kids. It's something that you gotta not take personal, but you also gotta, plan for. Outside the jail, you can't take that stuff home. Like I said, if you don't leave work at work, you're gonna be an asshole to your wife, kids, girlfriend, friends. Kind of stress relief. I'm big into softball and baseball for my kids. I help coach 12U Mud Dog softball. I help coach 9U Mud Dogs baseball. I'm vice president of Mud Dog softball. So when they're done with that, I'll move on to something else. I go to Indianapolis a lot. I'm a huge Colts fan, Pacers fan since second grade. Go to games quite a bit. Now that Caitlin Clark's now in the Fever, kind of helps. So now my daughter, we can go to Fever games. So I could literally go to Indianapolis, stay in the hotel all weekend, not do a damn thing, come home. I mean, it just gets me away from Burlington, Iowa, from work. It's just something that with a profession like this, you gotta do. I used to work, I've worked every shift out of the jail, 7 to 3, 3 to 11, 11 to 7. I've done 11A to 7P. I've done 7P to 7A. I've done 3 seconds, then 3/3 on a 6-day on, 3-day off rotation. I've done 3 firsts and 3/3. I literally have done it all. Now I'm administration, so I work 7:30 to 3:30, kind of when I show up, kind of when I leave, Monday through Friday. Kind of it. I mean, I could talk about each of those questions all day. The jail holds 68. We have 68 beds. We have what we call boats, little plastic things. We throw a mattress on the floor. Those are temporary. We can hold 80 if you include our intake area, but you can only be back in intake for 24 hours per Iowa code. Obviously, if you're being a major problem, we can leave you back there, but we got to offer you exercise and what we would do if we moved you up to a unit. Everybody that's moved up to a unit gets classified per your charge, past history, employment, suicidal tendencies, whether you're going to be we have female GP, female max, male GP, male max, male super max, special status, swing, and work release. Work release is more of a minimum housing unit right now. Because if you're just serving time and you have a court order to let you go out to work, we'll let you go out to work. Everybody is strip searched when you come in and out, whenever you leave. Serious misdemeanor and above, get strip searched no matter what. There are some simples. If we got the arresting agency comes in and they got probable cause, we can strip search you. Right now, I think our head count's actually maybe in the 90s. Obviously, they're not over. We use Lee County a lot, Henry County. We've actually been having to use Davis County. It's an hour and a half away just because we've had like 126 people before. And that's a pain because then you gotta drive to Davis County an hour and a half back for a 5-minute court hearing and then take them back. So it is a pain in the ass. Special status is for suicidal inmates. We got 2 of them right now that literally just yesterday cutting his wrist. We take him to the hospital, get evaluated, he got discharged, now he's back. So he's in a blue dress. It's called a smock. We call it a blue dress. No underwear, no t-shirt, no socks, blue dress. You can't tear it. You get a suicide blanket, you can't tear it. If you're not, you get a normal, what we call an issue. You got bedding, towels, 4 uniforms, toilet paper, hygiene items. If you want any better hygiene items and a little golf pencil and a little toothpaste, toothbrush, buy it off commissary. Swing right now is, actually, female GP and swing, we kind of alternate. Female GP actually has females in it. Swing is where we put sex offenders, or kind of, if you're a guy that would go into GP, but you're odd, you're weird, you're not gonna make it, female or male GP, we put you in swing. Gotta keep those separate kind of at all times. Well, no matter what you classify at, if you're a sex offender or have a sex offense, you will not go to a general population. You go to max because you're out different times, but you put a sex offender, male GP, shut that door, they're gonna get their ass kicked or dead in 30 seconds. Female GP, all units are, inmates are not out at the same time. We kind of split the unit. You're out this time, out this time, out this time throughout the day. Male max and female max and special status, you're out 1 hour in the morning and 1 hour at night. Male super max, you're only out 1 hour a day. I'm only required, no matter if you're minimum housing or super max, I'm only required by the state to allow you 1 hour out a day. To shower, to exercise, to clean your room, to call your friends and family, to have visits, you have to get that done in that hour. If you don't get it done, it's one of those things, it's not my problem. Visitation, we do everything over at kiosk. We used to have to move the inmate to the visitation room, then back. Now they don't even leave the unit. They do everything on FaceTime. So if you go and visit an inmate, you will not see them face to face. It's all over FaceTime. All right, now the questions. I can go in depth on anything you guys want.
The kiosk idea is a lot more secure.
Yes, it's very secure. We don't have visitors trying to pass contraband. But
What's the craziest breakout story someone's trying to?
Yeah, I was gonna ask.
breakout, we've had people try to dig through our swing shower ceiling, because there's some areas of that jail, I don't know why it was built that way. They actually got up into above our control room, and with no lights, and literally going along the wall, and there's a door that gets you on top of the roof. You can just jump off and be gone. The key was right here. They missed it, and we found them, and everything was good. You actually see in the newspaper, like inmate escape from Des Moines County Jail, or blah, 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 charges of escape. 9 times out of 10, it's somebody that had work release, went to work and didn't come back. And that happens quite a bit. same code section for charge, but it sounds like they escaped the jail, but they just didn't come back from work. Or a furlough, somebody dies, or a hospital. Sometimes they get furloughs for medical treatment, funerals, at a certain time or whatever, and they just don't come back.
So basically what he's saying, we've never had a true.
And
check.
since I've been there, we've never had. Lot of jail movies out there, they're all bullshit. You get more than one phone call. You don't go to male GP and sit in that corner and get raped. It's not like that. Can be, don't get me wrong, we've had some sex offenders in there that are more of the predator than the victim. And then they try and prey on the inmates that are in the unit, so we've had that.
What's the daily life like inside jail for someone?
Well, kind of depends on who you are and what unit you're in. Male GP, obviously, there's alternating lockdown schedules. You can come out, you can play cards, you can play dominoes, you can watch TV. If you want to hear the TV, you got to buy a radio off commissary. We used to have where you just turn up the volume in the unit, but then people playing cards would talk louder, turn the TV up, and they talk louder, then they fight, and we got to go in and break up the fight. So now, if you want to control volumes, they can. Yeah. Thing about what I like about our jail is we work well with, obviously, with the deputies, but our jail is completely its own town government within that building. We have internal citation process, appeals, discipline. If there's a fight, jail staff's the one that goes in and breaks it up. Good. Des Moines County. Everybody in Des Moines County goes to our jail. Meepo, Burlington, West Burlington. So we're so full right now. Like I said, we have them in Lee County. We got them in Henry County.
What time do they make, what time's wake up?
Breakfast is at 5 a.m. 5 a.m.
Honestly, I skip breakfast.
And you get a sack breakfast that's got like 2 cereals, like a little rip off the lid type thing, like a fruit and a Nutri-Grain bar or a muffin. Lunch is the only hot meal that they get, and it's hot dogs every Monday, beans and weenies every Thursday, and chicken patties every Friday. Any other day, it's kind of like school food. We get the Crispitos, we get the beef and noodles, chicken and noodles. Yeah. And then for dinner, you get 2 bologna sandwiches or 2 turkey sandwiches every night. Every night. We come to the point now where it's all kind of like budget wise, is we have to meet Iowa code jail standards with calories, nutrition, and whatever. And we always, with that being said, we always meet or exceed those standards.
Do they have a choice in if they want to eat or not, or they all have?
Yeah, they don't have to grab a tray or a sack, but then once they're gone out of the unit, they're like, hey, I didn't get mine. I don't care.
Are they allowed to skip breakfast and just sleep?
Trust me, I would too. I'm not getting in the fight for that.
How do you wake them up?
Just, we have intercoms in every cell, we have intercoms in every day room, always. We can call into each unit, or we can do an all-call. And we'll call them, like, kind of do that for anybody. If anybody has like a med call or gotta go see the nurse or the doctor, we'll haul them in like, hey, Colter, come down to G1J, officer will be there. We'll just get on the all-call, like breakfast, last call for breakfast, or first call for breakfast and last call. We'll do first call for meds, last call for meds. We do medication passes at 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. You don't get up for 8 a.m. or 8 p.m. meds, that is marked down as a refusal. You call at 9 o'clock saying, hey, I was asleep, not my problem. Obviously, if it's a hard matter or issue, then we kind of gotta not have that attitude, but it's gotta start, these are adults. You gotta hold them accountable, but obviously, 9 times out of 10, they come in like, I'm a grown ass man and blah, blah, and then as soon as they get to GP, they start bitching about stuff. Okay. I actually there's been several times where I strip searched or booked in, kids I went to high school with. One guy was in GP for burglary, and he came to me, started a fight, and argued with me that somebody stole a Snickers. I just simply stated, "Aren't you here for burglary?" Joking, and he's like, "Oh yeah," and then went away. And I'm like, "Really? You can steal other people's shit, and then eventually they come and get you."
Hard to believe somebody would steal something in jail.
Yeah. Some of their stuff does not stop once they get inside.
So, when something happens out of jail, you're this, who else can respond?
Anybody and everybody. Well, it's a couple of years back. You remember when that Dakota thing was? What year?
Is that,
19?
that's what I was thinking. Was that
Okay.
too-
Yeah, back in 2019 is kind of a perfect storm. We had several inmates in Mel Max that were convicted of murder, and they were just waiting for sentencing. And they got mad and did something, and they all teamed up on one CO as he walked in, literally beat the shit out of him. I got called, went there, paramedics and everybody were there. I couldn't even recognize him. We called literally the cavalry. Cavalry. Everybody. If you get on the radio, call dispatch saying problem at the jail, you'll have West Burlington officers, Iowa State Patrol, Burlington PD, Des Moines County deputies. We had a deputy when that call got out was in Danville, and he made it to the jail in 3 minutes. And it,
He was speeding.
in a little bit. But it's the good thing about working in this field is that they literally said, "Hey, a brother's down, they need help." And like when I was on 12-hour shifts, I was with that group of people more than I was with my wife. So the camaraderie starts, family starts, you go to these staff members that you work with daily, you go to their kids' birthday parties, you get invited. I got a coworker that his kids actually call me uncle. And that's probably one of the best parts of this field. Because you also gotta have something to vent on. Like I said, I go to Indianapolis all the time, but if I can't vent this stuff to my wife, I'll probably be in there on suicide watch. I mean, it's stressful. There are times where we have an 800 number posted in our break room that if I gotta talk to somebody, I can call. I have seen stuff that you guys, probably joke about, but I can tell you have seen it. I've seen some weird stuff. I have strip searched a person I went to high school with and found 36 cents in his ass. I don't know why, but I found 36 cents. He does the squat and cough, spread the cheeks, and then ting, 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 change phone. We have found drugs. We have found guns. We have found females when they pat down a female. We have found a fifth of vodka in between their boobs.
Oh.
I mean, we have seen it all. We have seen people trying to commit suicide. We have seen people try to harm themselves. We have seen people try to pleasure themselves. I just doing a routine check. You're gonna see it. Wow, you guys gotta have good questions. You guys are in high school.
I just want to hear stories.
Yeah.
Stories. Like what kind of stories?
Any story, some interesting though. Some
Not sure, like, interesting or fun.
What do you mean that's crazy? Yeah,
Not-
some really interesting.
You cannot leave out any details.
Brian, what do you think they would need to hear?
Give them a good fight.
Fight? Besides the attack? Okay, I'll go back to that attack. He actually escaped from the unit. The officer did. They refused to lock down. Then eventually they did lock down, but at that point we had about 30 officers there. We had dogs and everything. We go to their cells, we basically hog tie them, we rip them out of their cell, start the kind of the interview process, all that crap. When an inmate sees a dog is probably the best thing you're gonna see. They are talking shit to you the entire time. Then all of a sudden, and I'm not talking like we're gonna do a shakedown and we see the dog, the sniffing dog, whatever. I'm talking about like when ISP brings the dog that is literally the job is to chew your ass. That's the best part. Is you go to their cell, hey, open up the hatch, turn around, handcuff, whatever, blah, blah, calling you every name in the book. All of a sudden you just go like this, they come up and they got the dog, and the dog's literally like this, like, oh shit, this is gonna be fun. Handcuffed. That is the best part.
Oh, yeah, I can see that.
That is the best part. I ran to a fight. We have a 65B, 65A are two doors that make a little hallway. We call it the Sally Port. And then G1J is right here that actually enters the day room of GP. If you open up G1J, it's a rolling lock, so it'll stay open unless you open it and shut it. I'm running in there to fight. They are fighting so hard that they come through G1J. I grab one guy, separate, kind of suplex him. I hit my head on the concrete. He lands on me again. I hit my head again. I end up going to the hospital for a concussion, probably out for a week. I didn't even know who it is or whatever. I just instincts, fighting GP, you go. Then I come back and like write my report and realize these guys are literally 6'5" and 6'7". I am 5'10". Like, what the hell was I thinking? But that's just, it's in your blood. It is literally trained into your brain. Go. I've had urine and poop thrown at me. I have been spit on, blood, normal saliva spit on me. I've had a bloody pad thrown at me. Yeah. I've had a bong handle gone like that.
It was on fire with the
Yes.
This one of the weirdest things we found.
The weirdest things you found on? During a strip search, a guy comes in, arrested at the probation office. He literally has, it's literally a fake penis. It is, I don't even know what it's made of, but it looks just like a penis, and you can Velcro it around your thing, and it's connected to a bag. So when he goes and does a pee test for probation, it is somebody else's pee. The probation officer forgot to take that from him, so we found it and had to get it back. So he knew he was doing drugs while on probation and needed somebody else's urine, because you can buy it, people will sell it. And speaking of selling, you can mail letters and do whatever to an inmate. We don't give that to them anymore. We used to rip off the stamp because they'll put drugs underneath the stamp, do whatever, give them the card, give them the letter. We scan everything in now. So if you get mail, you gotta go to the kiosk, log in, look at your mail and read it that way. Prison systems and jails are having who's ever heard of K2? The synthetic drug? In the prison system, a single sheet of paper soaked in K2 can bring you anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000. Like, hey, I want some K2. All I got is 20. He'll rip you off what he thinks is worth $20. Put it in your mouth. You will get high. You will become high, violent, do whatever, and not remember a damn thing. Like a synthetic drug.
Like that's literally just what's in it.
Yeah, it's called K2.
Do they have an expectation of privacy in jail?
Nope. Nope.
What?
Expectation of privacy?
A lot of inmates will put blankets over their doors when they gotta go poop. We just rip them down.
That's kind of bogus,
Don't come to jail. They're like, the best thing is everybody's like, at the inmate, or all the inmates like, well, you know, you're violating my rights. Well, you obviously violated somebody else's rights because you're here. I mean, it's my right to, it's my car parked in my driveway. I shouldn't have to lock it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just kind of one of those things, but.
Well, it's all on you.
Radio, handcuffs, extra magazines, flashlight, mace, gun. I do not have the attachment, I took it off for my taser, and I don't have the attachment for the body camera. At the jail, you are required to get maced, and you are required to carry it on your person. You don't have to have a vest like this, you can get a duty belt and do whatever. You are required to get certified in taser, but you are not required to actually carry it on your person. I carry firearm, gotta qualify that several times a year, just cause I do transport. Not everybody does transport, so they don't have to carry a firearm.
So then you've been tasing.
Yes.
How does it feel?
I would rather get tased than maced, because mace, several hours after, you're still like this. And you gotta make sure you have somebody at home and you're laying on the counter and then washing your hair that way several times before you get in the shower, because if that stuff rolls down, it hurts everywhere. The Taser XP, when it first came out, I got tased, it hurt, but then I just got recertified on the Taser 7. I didn't have to get shot, but I volunteered to get shot, like fully shot with the probes and for 5 seconds with the newbies. That hurt. That has a different kick, the new Taser that's out. I don't wish that on anybody. That sucks. Kind of the way things are going now with new laws and all that is, when Taser came out, it was kind of to prevent going hands-on. It's like they see that red dot on them, they're like, all right, I'm done. Now it's kind of coming to where they want you to go hands-on and then taser to prevent any injuries. So it's kind of defeating the purpose, but kind of the way it is. Gotta go attempt hands-on and last resort. It does prevent you from going, hey, I need your cell, pack your stuff. No, I'm not moving, and then pop, you can do whatever. But if you could do that, it'd be a lot easier, but no, we can't do that. There are,
What training do you guys do?
hmm?
What type of training do you guys do?
Training, we gotta do like mace, taser, we gotta do defensive tactics. We gotta do 40-hour jail school within that first year of hire to get certified. Then every other year it's 20 hours annual jail school. We go over basically new laws that's come down, case study. We've done suicide prevention, bloodborne pathogens. Kind of the same stuff every year. After 20 years, it is the same crap. But, except for case study, that can be deliberate indifference. Have you guys gone over that yet? It's kind of basically something happens to an inmate, and then my response. If I had every intent and effort in what I did that helped you or whatever, whether it helped or not, my intent, and I don't have deliberate indifference. If you came to me saying, hey, I'm having chest pains, and I'm like, go sit down, I don't care, that's deliberate indifference. If I have knowledge of a law that I'm like, hey, I'm required to do this, but I ignore it, that's deliberate indifference. Kind of hard to explain, but once you actually go over case studies and see the deliberate indifference, it's like, oh yeah, oh shit. It's more like common sense than anything. It was actually like thought that just like cops or somebody worked at the jail and not correctional officers. But I didn't even, when I was in high school, my sister worked there. Graduated, she moved to Florida. My mom worked there for a little bit. I actually worked with my mom at the jail for several years. And I was actually her boss for several years. That's awesome. Call your mom at 3 a.m. saying, hey, you gotta come in, mandatory. It's awesome. But before that, I didn't even know where the jail was. Who knows where the jail is? Yeah, I know you know. Yeah.
Isn't it behind, Old Prairie or
Yep. Turn at McDonald's and that Great Prairie Education. Take a left there. The jail and storage units is the only thing back there.
It's kinda nice in there. Like,
The jail?
yeah, it's not like what I expected it to
Oh,
look
yeah.
like.
It looks like kinda like a warehouse, but,
It
and
does.
real small, but it's literally a town in there. We do
Well, in a sense,
everything
it is
inside.
warehouse.
What's that?
In a sense, it is.
Yeah, we do store things, I guess.
I'd be curious to know the numbers, see how close I am being the officer brought the most out.
Yes. We always knew, when I worked 7P to 7A, and the COs would work 8-hour shifts, so at 10:30, we do head count for second shift to end, and then third shift to come in at 11. There's always an arrest that came in at 10:30, we like, not a head count, it was always Mr. Carter. Always Mr. Any more questions? Come on, I had Meepo High School at the tour yesterday, and they got a pretty good one, cause we had about 2 suicide attempts while they were there, so we had to deal with that. They came up with good questions, come on, don't let Meepo.
So you talked about jail school. What is the jail school, where is it located?
The 40-hour jail school is in Fairfield, Iowa. The annual 20 hours, can be in Burlington, Fairfield, Ottumwa, Mount Pleasant. We can just send you can go to either one. I go to the one, that's put on by Crime Commission out of Fairfield. But I go to the one up in Des Moines that's put on by the Iowa Sheriff's Deputies Association.
So how long can somebody stay in jail?
They can only be sentenced to the jail for 364 days or less.
Why not?
Because if you are 365 days or more, you go to prison. But you can be there longer than 365 pending trial. During COVID, we had people there for over 2 years. It sucked, and they were not the people you wanted there for 2 years. Mental health has sucked in Iowa.
Was it just because like things weren't open?
Things weren't open, they were continuing stuff all the time. Yeah,
So they didn't really move that against them or anything?
no, and COVID threw kind of basically everything out the window. There's really no, even today, I don't even think there's case law on COVID.
I did find some gray areas though.
Yes.
You guys were a little ticked at me the day I left my dad, that you were trying to decide you're gonna keep her that.
Speaking of keeping her, when an arresting agency brings them in, jail staff has the right to refuse that person. Like, hey, they need to be fit for confinement. The arresting agency then if they don't wanna let her go with a citation or ticket, they gotta take them to the emergency room till they are discharged and paperwork filled out saying they are fit for confinement, then they bring them back. We cannot do that if a state agency brings them in though. If Iowa State Patrol, DCI brings them in, we have to take them. I don't know why, but usually the higher ranking ones you get, the more spoiled you get, I guess,
Wish
I don't
would've
know.
done that, I would've had that state patrol during all mine. I will tell you, what's some of the characteristics you want for a correctional officer?
We have currently working at the jail a variety of personalities. Kind of just off the top of my head is do not call in sick a lot. We're dealing with that right now. Do not take anything personal. It's a job. Go in there, do your 8 hours.
I would not.
soon as you leave, you're done. I got that CO that his kids call me uncle. He's actually a sergeant, and COs can make decisions, sergeants fix their decisions, and then I pick sergeants, and I have reamed him several times. I come into work, it's not how I want things done, blah, blah, blah. We've had arguments in my office, sergeant's office, and the A19 door is what we call the staff door, they come in and out. We leave A19 together at work, and it's like it never happened. You've gotta not take things home. If you can separate, awesome. Long hours. Just cause you are scheduled for 8 hours does not mean you're not working 16. We try not to go over 12, mandatory to stay late, mandatory them to come in early, but we might be sitting on somebody at the hospital that we can't get a furlough for. So you're working 12 hours here, and I need you to go to the hospital, sit for another 4. Obviously, you can be book smart, but if you got common sense, great. This job's a lot of common sense. There's law is black and white. Like, you can do this, you can't do that. But policies at the jail, as long as you get, there's a situation, as long as you get to that result, I don't care if you go A, B, C, D, or A, D, E, F, B, whatever, as long as you didn't break policy, fine. Go in that gray area.
What's the best tool that a guy can have at that jail?
Communication. You can be this. I got a dude literally right now. He's working today. Oh, I should freaking bring him for show. Hell, this dude, when he first started, arresting agencies thought it would bring your kid to work day. No, I'm not kidding. They even asked me, "Does it bring your kid to work day?" This kid looks like he's 20 years old. He looks 12 at the most. He goes in the GP, male max with murderers, rapists, drugs, gang, all that. Not a problem. Nope. He's about this big. And he, as a 20-year-old, I think he wears like youth medium uniform pants. That's how small he is. But he goes into work every day. If you can use your voice, walk up to a situation, communicate well, diffuse the situation, that is the best tool you could use. Most people think it'd be, well, I'm 6'4", I can go to GP and I take DT class. No, it don't matter. Use your communication. I have been to many units before and diffused the situation just by never going hands-on. I've had, I don't even remember the guy's name. He was actually a general in I think the Gangster Disciples, I think. Just, you know, you go up there, you talk to him, you're like, hey, this is what, it's kind of like if you went to Kohl's and talked to the manager, literally.
That's my grandma.
If you, hey, this is what I can do, this is what I can't do, but let's do this. There's a lot of give and take. Granted, they don't get what they want, obviously. You stack the deck, but I saw him out several times. Shake hands, just whatever. You gotta be able to have that mentality and show them the respect if you want it. That if you saw them out, like obviously we can't do this against policy, but like if I saw them at Whitey's or a bar, I'm like, hey, here's a beer. That's the respect you gotta have. I never read complaint affidavits. I'm actually the grievance officer. So if I have 3 individuals that have a grievance, I gotta answer them per policy the same way I would treat if you were here for driving on suspension, or if you were here for a sex offense on a 4-year-old kid, or you murdered somebody. I have to treat you all the same. So I try not to read complaint affidavits. If I read a complaint affidavit that you touched a 40-year-old man touched a 13-year-old girl, I'm gonna get pissed because my daughter's 13 years old. That's why I don't read them. You can, I mean, we get them, but really I don't find the point in it.
I would want to be for that.
No. We deal with, a lot of people are like, oh, you're just a glorified babysitter. Kind of. We deal with the same people that, you know, the arresting agencies bring in, deal with them for probably about a year before they go to prison or released home. I don't care, like, when you treat them with that respect, and you treat everybody the same, and you get told, well, you don't care. And I'm like, well, honestly, I don't. 'Cause I don't care if you go home, I don't care if you go to the halfway house, I don't care if you go to prison. You treat me with respect, I will treat you with respect. My job is to not make your stay here at the jail like crap. Your behavior will dictate that. My job at the jail is to make point A, is the jail, to get you to point B. That's it. Let's, you know, hate to say that staff and inmates work together, but when it comes to respect and communication, it's kinda like that.
So, when it comes to like their letters and phone calls,
Oh, every letter is scanned, oh, take that back. We cannot go through legal mail. But if you get a letter from mom, dad, boyfriend, girlfriend, or send mom, dad, boyfriend, girlfriend, staff reads those letters. It's scanned, if it's got trial information, it's got threats in it, blah, blah, it will be given to the county attorney for possible charges. Visitation, like I said, it's on the kiosk, it is 100% recorded. So if you are in jail and you visit somebody 10 times and 5 years later, I can still look up those visitations. Even your mail that we scan in is 100% there. Phone calls, everything's recorded, unless it's for an attorney. Everything. We can even monitor live stuff. It's just kind of one of those, not picking on you, but if I got nothing to do and I wanna watch your visitation, I can watch your visitation. We don't allow, it's, the system itself, if you show body parts or anything inappropriate, it's supposed to kick you out, and we'll suspend your rights for visitation for probably up to 30 days. Happens all the time.
Oh.
the nice thing about the phone calls, guys, they've solved so many cases for law enforcement.
Yep, we actually give access to our phone system and visitation system to investigators at every agency. If they're not in the local, if you don't have an account, I can create one for you. If you just, surrounding, like, we've helped, I think it was in Florida actually, had a past inmate of ours, and on his phone call, thank God he only had one phone call, actually talked about the case in Florida, and all I did was hit the little envelope next to the phone call and it emailed it right to him. Problem. So, everything follows you. It's like cell phones. Yeah.
I was just talking about cell phones in my advanced class because we were doing orders and we talked about how you can apply for a search warrant to find out who actually was in a certain area at a certain time based on cell phones.
You should probably advance class.
Pictures, phone logs. Technology's great, guys, especially when it works, but it can also bite you in the ass. We have body cameras. Every CO's required to wear a body camera. If you have any interaction, or if you're gonna go do a check and possibly be around an inmate, you have to turn it on. If you wanna go to control, talk shit about me or jail administration, turn it off. I don't care. Jail staff thought jail administration was gonna, like, they're just gonna watch our body camera and see what we're doing. No. But to tell you the truth, since we've had body cameras, I've only 2 times gotten a grievance about, this officer said this to me. So I watched his body camera. No, they didn't. So it also can save you.
Body cameras save you more times than it ever hurt. Made me a better officer.
Yeah, you gotta be professional.
You knew you were being recorded.
Cause if you go look at your body camera and you were an asshole to this person, it's very clear that you were.
So how many staff do you have out there?
Right now, I think we're at full staff because of this whole new restructure thing. Not including me and Doug, we're at 21. 22 if you count a part-time.
So you have part-time staff as well, you said?
Yep. And we're hiring part-time if you're 18 and, well, I guess you gotta graduate first, but, we are hiring kitchen cooks, part-time job, 18. Probably 5 hours at a time, some weekends, some during the day.
You have women staff on there?
I think at one point, I don't think it's that way now, but I think at one point we had more women on staff than we did men. I'm required to, by union contract, I'm required to have 2 females and 2 males per shift for shift preferences. But I think we're male heavy now though, but I think usually on day shift, there's at least one or female working, sometimes 2. Third shift, I think I have more females than I do first and second.
Guys, you have anything else for me? Anything you might want to know about jails? It's time to ask.
And I've seen it all, that's why when she asked me what craziest thing I've seen, I really can't.
It's hard to process.
It is hard, I've been there for 20 years and seen some weird stuff. Yep.
Is the food as bad as people say it is, or like movies and stuff?
No, it's kinda, hot dogs every Monday, you get 1 hot meal a day, lunch. Breakfast is like the cereal, you peel off the lid, add milk, fruit and Nutri-Grain bar or muffin. Supper, you get bologna sandwiches or turkey sandwiches every night. Hot meal for lunch, every Monday hot dogs, every Thursday beans and weenies, every Fridays, normally chicken patties. We used to have every Friday fish for the whole Lent crap, and then it's more of a, finally convinced Doug to get rid of it, because then we had the, well, I can't eat fish, I'm allergic to it, I'm like, just do freaking chicken patties. But other than that, we'll have like pizza, chicken and noodles, beef and noodles, little mini corn dog. It's very similar to school food.
This is literally jail.
Literally.
It is.
I'd rather be here than jail.
What's that?
I said I'd rather be here than jail.
Yeah.
Could you tell me about the holding cells?
Holding cells. Intake has 4 cells. 2 of them have a wooden bench and a phone with no receiver. You gotta put your ear up to it. The other 2 have concrete slabs and only one of them has a phone. B1C has a phone. B1D, concrete slab. If you are a major problem, you're going in there and you don't get shit. You don't get a blanket, you don't get nothing. I'll give you a phone call to an attorney if you wanna make an attorney, but until you cooperate, you ain't getting nothing.
What's the toilet like?
There are no toilets in the intake cells. If you are cooperative, we'll take you to the bathroom, the change room. That's where we do all the strip searches, all the classification move you up. Otherwise, you can pee in a drain in the floor and we can flush it. If you're a problem, which B1D normally is, they'll pee underneath the door, so staff walks in it. They will poop in their cell and smear it all over the walls and window.
That's disgusting.
And by the way, this 9 times out of 10, if you're competent and not dealing with a mental health person, 9 times out of 10, when you come to and say, yeah, I'm sorry, I acted a fool, you're cleaning that shit up. I'm not. So a lot lately is we're dealing with mental health right now, and the jail's turned into a mental health hospital. You guys aren't competent enough to do anything. I'm in B1D cleaning up human feces and, yeah.
And if you're really not cooperative, you get the restraint chair.
Yep, we have, if you're suicidal, trying to break stuff, harm yourself, whatever, we'll put you in a restraint chair. It's actually pretty comfortable, but it's basically a chair, kind of inclined, arms out here, you're strapped in, your legs are strapped back, got a belly chain and a chest thing, so you cannot move. You will be, once you're in the chair, 15-minute watch, we'll check the straps, make sure you're not, cutting off circulation.
Can you move your head side?
You can move your head side to side. You can't, you won't even be able to flip the chair. You can thrash all you want, you're not flipping that chair over. You can be in there for 2 hours. We'll undo the straps, we will stand you up, give you a bathroom break if needed, but as soon as we stand you up and you throw a fit again, right back down another 2 hours. Jail is one of those things, like I said, your behavior depicts how comfortable you are. If you are a problem, you're not gonna get any favors from us, you're not gonna get anything from us, you're gonna be an intake. If you just, yes sir, no sir, we will actually, I'll go to you and call you sir. Like, hey, how you doing today, sir, or blah, blah. You get your, you come unlocked when it's your time to come out. You get a full issue, you get your commissary orders. Commissary's great, ramen noodles, Snickers. It's kind of like a convenience store. You go in, you can buy t-shirts, underwear, buy anything you want, shampoo, hygiene items. You can buy, if you don't want the jail stuff, you can buy whatever you want.
Alright guys, let's give it that form. Monday, we'll start talking about the hiring process of corrections.